midfield. It means an opportunity for the young Mpomatse, the teenager who will play at centre-back, and NODVOLU coming in as well. Richard Ferreira, the only player with past cup final experience, featuring as a substitute when Wits lost to Supersport in 2005. He had a brief spell of some 6 minutes in that particular match. Moroka Swallows have kept a consistent lineup over their last couple of games. Just 1 goal in their last 5 league matches, but much more proficient in the Nedbank Cup. Sydney Plaikies from Namibia was loaned in January from Mamelodi Sundowns. He would not have thought he'd be in a cup final at the end of the season, but Sandile Dlobo up front, so key as is LEFA TSULUPA. Perhaps still an opportunity for him to make an impression on the national coach Joel Santana before he finalizes his squad for the Confederations Cup. Now let's confirm the referees. We've mentioned a second cup final rather for Charles Theron, the man in the middle there from Stellenbosch, and a first cup final for Moses Pale and Edward Madidilani. Pale did do the Charity Cup a couple of years ago on the line, and Jerome Damon from Cape Town brings considerable experience to the 4th official's role. So LEFA TSULUPA on the right-hand side, Greg ETAFIA as well, 2 of the more experienced players in what is a fairly young Moroka Swallows side, Brian Mate.
Certainly is. So they need some leadership, and those 2 players that he's talking about, you have LEFA TSULUPA alongside Greg ETAFIA. They bring in experience into the young Moroka Swallows team. Vinicius is also a young player, new in the side, also talking about Ravi Duncan. Those are some of the new players, but it's such a big occasion for them, but ably led by LEFA TSULUPA.
Now Moroka Swallows disappointing in their league form. They really did fade away in the last 3 months of the season. What sort of impact will that have against this Amatux team?
Well, look, I think the bottom line is that Swallows are under pressure to deliver because they've raised their expectations with some quality football that they've played. But of course, this time we have to look at the visiting team. We're talking about the pride of Tshwane, led by Steve Parker. It's a 4-4-2 formation for them. But with Swallows playing with 1 striker, it's the responsibility of Mpomatse, who's going to be leading that defense. Number 33, look out for that player in the midfield, holding defensive role. Number 20, Shafiq Arense. He's so vital for Matax in terms of guarding that defense. Up front, of course, they have Ntonisha Dlamini. As we turn our attention to Moroka Swallows, they call themselves the pride of Egoli. And that's Moroka Swallows, experience in abundance. But let's look at the strength. It's in the midfield where they've packed up that midfield. Mark Haskins on the left-hand side is vital for Swallows. Igor Alves, he's a good passer of the ball and a prolific goal scorer. Quality in him, but the speed of number 14, CECIL is going to be key. KARIÇO Dengue, defensive role. SANDILE playing up front. He'll be dependent on those supply from CECIL and Mark Haskins.
With no team from the lower leagues having won a cup before, it's always been a little bit of a David Goliath occasion. There's been a lot of press this week about David versus Goliath, but Amatux won't go into this game as huge underdogs. Perhaps of all of the lower league sides that have ever played in a cup final, they're probably the more fancied.
You're right. I think if you look at how they've acquitted themselves against the big names, they've done very well. They haven't shown any respect, and you can actually tell from how Swallows have actually put up their lineup. They've packed their midfield because they're cautious of the pace and the quality passing that will be coming deep from that midfield on the Amatux. But for Swallows, it's a question of getting out there and getting an early goal that will be able to settle their nerves.
So Swallows have chosen to defend the goal to the left-hand side. These 2 teams switching over now. Don't forget, we must have a winner today. This game will go into extra time and penalties if necessary. Last year, of course, Lerato Chabango got the winning goal in the very last minute at the Johannesburg Stadium. This, by the way, is the 7th different venue being used for this final since the PSL started in 1996. We've had all sorts of Cup finals, Cape Town, Durban. There's Gulamali from Santos, of course, the chairman who has won both league and this competition. They beat Ajax Cape Town at the Athlone Stadium a couple of years ago. And there are many of the Premier League coaches here today. It's been a nice touch from the PSL. Let's pause now for a moment's silence in memory of the great Walter de Silva, coach of Pirates, Chiefs and Swallows. wonderful goal scorer for Highlands Power Lines and Highlands Park.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Walter de Silva would have appreciated the gesture. He died on Thursday. So we stand by for the cup final. Look at that lovely pitch, Brian Mate. It looks like a bowling green.
Well, if you can't play on this pitch, then you can't play football, because it's such a wonderful field, well manicured. It allows and accommodates quality football. And we talk about quality. We've spoken of some of these key players. Mark Haskins, his pace on the left-hand side is going to be key for Swallows. But of course, he's going to be up against a solid player. You're talking about Goodman Sauhatu, very strong tackler. It's going to be an interesting battle to watch.
Interesting that Moroka Swallows too have stuck with the formation of having Ndlovu up front as a target man, a very busy midfield, not as attacking as perhaps they could have been. The coach, Julio Leal, making the point that if the game does go in extra time, there's no point in killing yourself in the first 30 minutes. It is a hot day here today, but surprising that Swallows aren't perhaps against Amatak's giving it a little more shake in the early exchanges.
Well, Mark, like I said earlier on, it's a question of being respectful to the team. His coach is aware of their strength, and that's what they need to do, come out and attack.
So we're underway, the 2009 Nedbank Cup final. Who will succeed Mamelodi Sundowns as the holders of this trophy? Will it be Moroka Swallows in the all maroon today, or the students from the University of Pretoria wearing the white and red?
Already we're seeing indications from Swallows that CECIL Austin is going to be their key player. They're going to try and supply him some balls so that he can play some quality balls for SANDILE and NODVOLU. But he's going to be up against this young man, educated left foot strong tackler Ferreira.
Early touch as well for the young goalkeeper Ngoma. He was perhaps a little shaky in that game against Kaizer Chiefs 4-3 victory, but since then he's hardly put a foot wrong and really made a bit of a name for himself over the last couple of matches. Remember, they beat Bloemfontein Celtic in the quarters, Ajax Cape Town in extra time at the end. Oh, and a good chance here. The header coming in from Mark Haskins, who's already got 3 goals in this competition, and he seems to have injured himself in the process.
That's the sort of supply that you need, and when you can see that when SANDILE and NODVOLU got that ball and released Igor Alves, who did not disappoint. He played a quality and inviting ball inside the 16 area, and you've got to appreciate, I mean, look at it, playing as a holding role, intelligent. Alves spots Mark Haskins, is getting in front of the defender Sauhatu. He did well to hit the ball, but the goalkeeper Ngoma was well positioned. Perhaps not too much power, but he did well to send us the signal that he's prepared to get an early goal. Bit of an injury, but he should be able to shake that off.
Maybe a bit of a knock as he went up with the defender. It wasn't clear from those slow motion replays exactly how he hurt himself, but Amatak sportingly returning the ball here to Greg ETAFIA. Up front for the students today, Dlamini, whose father played along with our fellow commentator William Shongwe in Swaziland. This is TSULUPA just losing a little bit of direction there, recovers well. Ndlovu. SANDILE and NODVOLU has won a league championship. Watch Ndlovu there, just at the top of the D. He's also injured himself, Brian. There are 2 players down now. Ndlovu as well. So CECIL Austin gets up, so does Ndlovu, but he really did get a bit of a knock there, and this could be a huge blow if he is unable to continue, and he looks to be in some pain, does SANDILE and NODVOLU, hoping to walk it off. But as the pass came through, he seemed to get a bit of a knock on the top of the ankle. Let's just see what happened here. Here was the challenge on Ndlovu, and the turn around here. Well, he might have strained something in the ankle region.
Look, it was a strong challenge from Mpomati, and that's the battle that we predicted, that SANDILE is going to get some special attention. He's a key man playing as a lone striker. He's got to be able to protect the ball, and the battle will continue against Mati.
So Hatsi now playing it wide, and header away from Pretoria on that left-hand side for Moroka Swallows. Good strong challenge into IGOR ALVES, but it's illegal. The Brazilian who scored in the semi-final against Black Leopards, getting a strong knock there from young Mate. He certainly might be a junior as far as this level of football is concerned, but he throws his weight around like an experienced player.
Oh, that's what you need to do. It's good for the confidence.
Now Ricardo Ferreira, and the Botswana-born Mongale comes from Katse in the north of our neighbouring country. So Hatsi, this is gifted to ALVES. ALVES battled through the first part of the season with a knee injury, only really began to show his form towards the end of the campaign. This is just his 6th start of the season, but in the semi-final against Black Leopards, he certainly proved invaluable. He's a dangerous player, as Amatux will discover. Now Arensa, and then NODVOLU will come away with it. Oh, that's a strong challenge from Vinicius da Silva. The referee doesn't like it, and Moleko feels the brunt.
Well, that's the pace that Swallows were worried about, because suddenly Moleko found the gaps and the spaces in that midfield, and you could actually imagine that he left DENGUE for pace, and it resulted in Da Silva getting that yellow card because he had to commit to a tackle, and only this time around it was an illegal one.
God, he's going to have to tread lightly now. He's not a man who shies away from intimidating tackles, but led with studs showing, and there was really no option there from Charles Theron. As referee as well, he wanted to stamp his authority early on in this game and get his message across, and certainly the flashing of that yellow will have sent some signals out there. Bishop going forward, unable to get his head onto that.
That's what you do as a referee, stamp your authority, allow natural skill to take care of itself as opposed to just illegal tackles, and he's doing well so far, Charles Theron, as we saw that earlier ball, long ball played behind the Swallows defenders, and that's where Pretoria is operating.
TSULUPA forward here. Header away from Ferreira. Now Mongalo. Made a big impact in that victory against Kaizer Chiefs. Hasn't perhaps been able to keep up their consistency since then. But lots of talk about Mongalo heading to one of the big glamour clubs in the off-season now.
Well, he's always been a good player, but I think after the Kaizer Chiefs game, he got so much attention, and every coach that planned their game, they planned it around him to try and neutralize him. They know the amount of skill that he's got and the danger that he poses for the opposition.
Was previously on the books at Silver Stars, never really got an opportunity there. And Moleko perhaps in two minds. Greg ETAFIA got a bit of a stamp there. Mongalo. And the referee just has a little word with him. Well, he was trying to go for the ball.
I certainly was trying to go for the ball. I mean, he was quick enough, and the goalkeeper had that well covered.
So throw in here for Moroka Swallows. Nedbank Cup final 2009, the early stages. Header away from Warren Bishop, who's captaining the side today in the absence of Moyo, who's suspended. Jale also out. Two key players in the cup run this year who are unable to compete in today's match. Moyo also missed the quarter-final victory over Amatux. Now NODVOLU, little pushing and tugging there at the back post. Referee says the decision goes in favour of the University of Pretoria, but NODVOLU certainly is of a different opinion.
He's high on confidence. I mean, if you look at his positioning, always wanted to get something out of it. He got the touch, just couldn't get it on target. So Not complaining that he was pushed, but he still managed to get something out of it. It was just a touch, but nowhere near the target.
There was a shove there on by Ndlovu. Now, up against the upright. Strong shot coming in from Ndlovu.
That's confidence. That's showing your ability. Great technique as well from Ndlovu. What a shot. And I don't think ETAFIA was aware of that ball. Well hit, just unlucky.
Now ETAFIA takes no chances, tips that over the top. And the young students are putting on the pressure.
That's what they need. It's a confident boost for them, not showing respect to Swallows, ruffling that defense, managing to get shots on target. Look at this long ball. Kept his eyes on the ball, did the basic thing. Chip, well spotted off his line, but recovered quickly to concede a corner, ETAFIA.
Now Mongalo is there at the corner with the Arendse, who will take it. Swings it in to the back post. It came off a Swallows defender. It looks like Haskins might have had the last touch. So the pressure continues. Second successive corner.
The ball played with lots of power. Just needed a touch. Swallows were alert to the danger, and Dlamini at this time was the intended target for that ball. Played with some power.
It's a measure of the respect that Swallows have for this side, that every player that you'll see in your picture now, except for ALVES, who's just outside of the D, are back helping out in defence. Flags up here. That was a rather schoolboy routine from Amatakis, who wasted a good opportunity. Now, let's just go back to that effort from Ndlovu. A real wake-up, as you said, for ETAFIA, who will have known very little about this effort. Banged in on the full volley as well. It was a tremendous shot.
It was a dipping ball, just unlucky that it hit the crossbar, but the defense again was not tight enough because they allowed Ndlovu to just play that shot. They should be tight enough. They should be aware of the pace and the sense of agency that they have attacks up front. But Swallows' reaction, particularly RANCAN and Vinicius da Silva, should react quicker.
Arendse in picture, originally from Cape Town. Now KOBOLA looking for TSULUPA. Arendse takes it away, playing the little one too. Ndlovu, and the challenge is an illegal one. It was a strong one on Yende. He'll be a marked man today. He's got red boots as well, which distinguish him from the rest of his teammates. He's made it a bit easier for Moroka Swallows to target him.
You're right, he's more their playmaker. He joins in with the attack. Educated left foot, great vision as well. So definitely going to get some special attention.
Here's Yende, finds a bit of space for himself. Looking to play the 1-2 with Dlamini. It'll be DENGUE who will clear. KARIÇO DENGUE was a member of the WITS squad in 2005 when they reached the final, but that season he only played one game for WITS in the starting lineup, didn't make the squad for the cup final. Ferreira was his teammate. They're now on opposing ends here 4 years later in the deciding match.
Well, he seems to have settled in quite well in that defensive role that he has. It's a position that was well played by Goodman Mazibuko, who is the captain of the team, but he's kept him on the bench. And I think combining with LEFA to TSULUPA seems to be a strong combination.
Plaatjies will let this run out of play.
It's a bit restricted as well. Plaatjies doesn't go as much forward because he's got Moroka to deal with. So he's forced to stay in his own half.
Steve Barker, next to him his assistant is Selohatse Mosala. The last Mosala who played in the cup final was Ambrose Mosala. Bloemfontein Celtic, 1985. They beat African Wanderers at Ellis Park.
A great team. It had Michael Yeliu as well.
Oh, you're forgetting the main man, Ernest Chawali. Now OERSEN gets clipped from behind by Ndlovu, and that's going to be a yellow card, I fancy, for Ndlovu as well.
Tell you what, you're going to see more of this because both teams, their strength is in that midfield. If you lose possession, like Amatax had lost possession in the center of the park, Swallows were prepared to counter, and the speed of Cecil Olsen was too much for Ndlovu.
It's a clear yellow card offence, and quite correctly Charles Theron is forced again to issue a caution. Now Yende, oh, that was a sliding challenge from KOBOLA, which was of some danger. In fact, Yende is something of a victim there. Again, a marked man.
Sort of exposed himself for that strong challenge, and there are certain challenges that you can actually avoid. Was always late for the ball, but because he was pulling out of that tackle, and the secret is that don't pull out of that tackle, and against Vincent KOBOLA, uncompromising in that tackle. And he ended up pulling out that tackle because your foot becomes on the weaker side when you pull out of that, and he could have twisted his ankle.
Well, KOBOLA, perhaps his immediate reaction was an indication of his concern that he might get booked as well, but it seems that the referee felt that he got to the ball first, so no sanction for him, former under-23 international. So Jairo Leal, Zeka marks his assistant. Zeka's been in charge of Moroka Swallows in his own right in the past, the lollipop man.
That's his trademark, easing the nerves.
Well, you can't have any camel lights on that bench anymore, so lollipops it is.
We know now what you have at halftime, Mark.
So lots of excitement for the students who've travelled across down the highway to support Amatax, an institution, of course, which has ruled the roost at rugby level for decades, but never got this far in the football ranks. It's only the 7th year that they've had this football set up, and how well they've done. Started by Steve Haupt, of course, and Steve Barker has worked to build on the initial success that Amatax achieved. They moved up very quickly into the National First Division, and they've already produced some fine players who've gone on to compete in the top flight. We think of Mark van Heerden, of course, who was signed by AmaZulu at the start of last season, played for the under-23s.
One thing that they've done, I mean, with our tax boys is that the conditioning with that high performance center, you can expect them to be high in terms of their level of fitness.
Now Dlamini Ferreira, he was thinking about a shot from that range with a bit of an angle. In the end, tried a side-footed cross which went well over ETAFIA's goal. I see our friend Buerta from Bloemfontein Celtic is here. He hardly misses a game these days. He's become a professional fan.
Passionate fan, I mean, well-travelled. The Kaizer Chiefs fans are there as well. Not too sure whether they're going for Amatax or Swallows.
Now Alves. Looking for Ndlovu. Haskins gets past one challenge. Rides another. Can he get it square? Alves looks to turn. Ndlovu's waiting in the middle. It's just gone over his head, and Mongalo takes the safety option and turns it round for what will be Swallows' first corner of the game.
Quality football around the 18 area, and that's where you need skill, and that's what Haskins shows there. Great skill, but again some tight defending, unconvincing, but an orthodox way to play across from Igor Alves. Tight angle, but he managed to get something out of it, and it took Mongalo to concede a corner.
So Alves to take it. RANCAN is forward to TSULUPA. He might fancy something on the left foot. Goes wide of goal.
Has tendencies of scoring some vital goals for the team. He's done it for Panamafana as well. Lifa TSULUPA with his left foot. Knew what he wanted to do, bring it down with his right. Power, nowhere near target.
Former Bloemfontein Celtic and Jomo Cosmos player who's really blossomed in his latter years. He's now 29 years old.
Took a bit of time to settle into the team, but when he got his rhythm right and the confidence, complemented it with the captain's armband.
Well, he's the puppet master these days, in much the same way as Goodman Mazibuko was before them, leader of the side and also the inspiration in the middle of the park. He really has revelled in the role. Here's Dengue now. Oersen, first touch was a little heavy. KOBOLA looking for Ndlovu. Nice ball back to ALVES. TSULUPA comes through. There's a bit of a hole here which Swallows are looking to exploit. Haskins on the flank up against Sohatsu. Now ALVES. And they'll get a throw in.
Positive football from Swallows, but I think they can do better, because when they get the ball quicker into that opposition half and closer to the 18 area, they need to play it quicker and probably try and get a shot, because that delay allows Amatax to recover.
Now he has the quick counter-attack. Moroka so fast out of the starting blocks, but on that occasion RANCAN had his number. Oersen and Ndlovu. He gets support on the overlap from KOBOLA. Haskins, free kick. A challenge, a little bit of a rash one there from Saatsi.
Quality football from Swallows once more. Ndlovu peeling off, coming onto the right-hand side and spotting Mark Haskins. Bit of a trickery, late challenge from Sahatsu, because he had to catch up, and Mark Haskins had actually peeled off and joined it in the midfield.
Now DAVI RANCAN with this long-range opportunity is something of a free-kick specialist. Powers for goal, but well, that's certainly not going to create too many sleepless nights for Sia Ngoma in the Amatax goal.
Worked hard at training, and I'm sure he's the right man to do the job, but not this time around, when it's time for, you know, putting your show. And, there's nowhere near a good show from Ravi Duncan.
Bishop with a foul, he's leaning all over Cecil Oersen. He'll be joining Amazulu next season, has already signed a contract to move to Durban, be playing in the PSL in the next campaign. Full of passion is Warren Bishop.
Good read of the game as well, strong in the air.
So ALVES to take it. He has a good chance for Swallows now. That's into the danger zone. It's gone in the back of the net. Haskins claims it, and Swallows have the lead.
It was always coming. I mean, if you look at that in-string, difficult one with the sun, you know, playing a factor as well. Poor clearance from the Amatax players, and they should have done well. The goalkeeper not convincing at all, and that's what they should have done. Should have cleared the ball, and this, of course, adds to the confidence of the Swallows players. Vinicius da Silva credited with a goal, but poor defense, quality in-string ball played inside, and look at that. The goalkeeper should come out and clear that, and he's unconvincing in terms of punching the ball, dominating his area. And you've got to credit it to Swallows. A touch as well from SANDILE and Ndlovu. Vinicius doesn't disappoint.
Well, he got the last touch, Vinicius da Silva. Moroka Swallows have the lead. And the heart sign to a loved one in the crowd. Vinicius da Silva with a goal in the 21st minute. Moroka Swallows are in the lead here. Is the Amatax bubble going to burst here this afternoon at the Rand Stadium, or are they going to claw their way back? Another foul from Ndlovu and a warning from the referee. Now Yende, he's the man who really needs to step up now and take the game by the scruff of the neck. Ardensa, Bishop, who gave away that initial free kick. Ferreira. Moleko's header knocked back into the path of Yende, and here comes TSULUPA. He's got Haskins to his left. The defender is Sohatsu.
He's and well. I mean, did not commit to a slight tackle, stood his ground, won the ball. But Solo's dominant in that midfield, and the minute they get the ball, you have TSULUPA having that role where he joins in with IGOR ALVES and does unlocking, you know, that defensive midfield of RANCAN and NODVOLU, who are supposed to be playing that defensive role.
Here comes Mongalo. Good turn from Dlamini, leaves it for Yende, bit of space opening up. Great run here from Moroka, he's offside. Oh, and ETAFIA got struck in the face as well.
That's the runs that
there's a headbutt as well. This could be trouble.
Headbutt as well.
Now Charlton is going to take some serious action here. He wants the injury to ETAFIA sorted out, but KOBOLA and Moroka, he gets a yellow and he gets a yellow. They are both very lucky, Brian Mate.
Very, very lucky. No need for that. It's inexperience as well. And as for Moroka, no need to do that. It's a great combination that started in that midfield, and ETAFIA coming out to save the ball in that collision with Moroka. Very, very lucky.
So he has the offside decision, and it's a very, very tight one.
It's a very tight one, because for me, the player that was offside was Mongalo, but the ball was not intended for him. But this challenge here, I don't think there was any intention from Moroka. But because he was sliding, collided with the ETAFIA. But
KOBOLA making a bit of a meal of it when he was making a meal out of it. Aggressor.
Yeah.
They call it a Glaswegian kiss, and there was certainly no love lost between those two players. They were both very lucky to be on the pitch. What a way to spoil the cup final, but Charlton has perhaps made the right decision. It is a prestigious occasion, it is a cup final, and although by rights both of those players should be in the shower now, there's no need to spoil it. But a last warning certainly for both of them. Yende now, as Amatax push forward, last touch from Pretoria.
Well, you're right, as a referee you've got to stamp your authority, but also use your discretion, and that's what he did. They had to apply his mind. It would have spoiled the occasion, but sending a warning to these two young men was a good decision.
Vinicius to Silva climbing above DENGUE. That should be a corner.
He is living dangerously, but this time around very convincing. He had to go for safety first, but from time to time, one-on-one situation, he commits to a tackle.
So Mongalo will take it. Once again, they employ two men at the corner kick, which is always just the waste of an extra person. And a chance there for, it looked like Dlamini, who missed the header. A golden opportunity in front of goal.
Again, not giving up.
Alves is brought down. Free kick to Moroka Swallows, but what a good chance for Amatax at the other end to equalise.
What an exciting game. I mean, if you look at the one end, Amatax will playing their set piece. This time around it was Alves, released by ETAFIA, one-on-one situation. He had to be sandwiched and he had to be brought down in an illegal fashion.
Matse and Sahotsu, the players who contrived to give away the free kick. Maybe RANCAN's come forward again. He'll want to have an opportunity. A lot closer this time.
Is it going to be DAVI RANCAN? Looks like it. There's a CECIL OERSEN as well.
And OERSEN looks to be measuring his steps. RANCAN is measuring his steps. They both look like rugby players about to convert a try. So the goalkeeper will be completely unaware. OERSEN goes for goal over the top.
Rugby stuff. You probably spoiled it for them because you mentioned the rugby, but nowhere near target. I mean, these are the sort of situations where teams have worked hard in training the coaches and they expect good delivery on a match day. And so far, DAVI RANCAN and CECIL OERSEN disappointing in executing those set pieces.
We'll have a look just now at how close Amatakis came at the other end, but here they are again. This is Yende. Clearance away from Vinicius to Silva. Bishop has possession. Finds Ferreira. He's got a bit of space on the flank. Swallows holding back. Not pushing too far forward. Looks to find Mongalo.
Got to credit Vincent KOBOLA on the right-hand side. He's managed to neutralize Mongalo. We haven't seen more of him. This is the earlier cross that was played. Just needed a touch. Just couldn't find that touch. But again, poor defense from Swallows. And a letter from them. It took ETAFIA to save the situation.
The man who missed the header was Ndlovu, who's just headed it there to show that he can actually find the ball with his head. But that was a great opportunity. Now Yende is turning it on a bit for the crowd, but not making much progress.
No time for showboating in that midfield. You've got to play it. It's a question of seconds, because the minute you get fancy, the gaps are going to be narrowed, and it resulted into a poor delivery.
Ferreira to Yende again. Ndlovu, who's in the team in place of the suspended Jali.
Bit rattled in that midfield. I mean, playing the ball too early, not finding the man. Amatax.
Foul throw by KOBOLA, so Ferreira takes it to Shafiq Arendse. Crowd's building up nicely here at the RAND Stadium. The new capacity is 25,000. They've had up over 30,000 in the past. In fact, according to the history boards here, the biggest attendance was 31,000 in 1975 when George Best came to play in an exhibition game. In fact, there was a NFL match with Jewish Guild and Hellenic. Bobby Moore was on the other side, and the crowds came out to watch the two British legends. But we've had some big matches subsequent to that. I can remember Kaiser Chiefs playing air on a few occasions. I can remember Jeff Butler storming onto this pitch and getting away with it in the middle of a match. And on that occasion too, packed house. But this really is a very proud looking stadium for Johannesburg. They've done exceedingly well with the RAND Stadium. It won't be a World Cup venue, of course, but it'll certainly be used by one of the big teams to train on. So Tuck's leading the possession statistics, a goal down though. Alves, that's a fine ball. Ndlovu giving chase, and decides that that's a bit of a lost cause.
Intelligent ball once more from Igor Alves, trying to release SANDILE. But it was overhit by Igor Alves. The takeoff as well from SANDILE, not well positioned.
Now Mongala. Inside, the turn from Dlamini. Chance to get the shot on goal. He's just wide. Great effort from the young Swazi.
Give the ball to Mongalo. He will make things happen, and that's what Mongalo did. Combining with look at the 10 here. Intelligent ball. Look at Dlamini. Quick 10. And Ravi Duncan, not tight enough. Look at the technique. Just had everything right, but just unlucky. Played it between the feet of Ravi Duncan. Just unlucky. So close. And he knows it. Anticipation of a goal from Steve Barker.
They've come close. You'll see goal attempts. Swallows are dominating, but those two efforts from Amatax have just been narrowly wide. Now, Moleko. Plaitjes in a bit of trouble here. Well, he does well, the Namibian, to extricate himself from a dangerous situation, but it seems that the neutral fans in this crowd, Brian, are beginning to get themselves behind the underdogs, the National First Division side.
The confidence as well from the underdogs is rising because they are finding the spaces. The quality of the final ball is very good because from time to time Moleko find the gaps in front of Plaitjes. I've seen probably the third ball that's been played in front of Plaitjes because Moleko just makes this run, quick run in front of Plaitjes because he has no cover from DAVI, RANCAN and Vinicius da Silva because their focus now is on Dlamini.
TSULUPA. He clipped his own man DENGUE there. Now back live with ETAFIA, the Nigerian international. Didn't make the squad for his Super Eagles side this time round. He's been a regular on the bench as one of the backup goalkeepers, but not included for matches against Ireland next Friday in London and France on the 2nd of June, a game which the Pretoria referee Matthew Dyer will take charge of.
Got to the ball first. It was judged to be illegal from South Korea.
ALVES, good defensive work from Saatsu. ALVES does well to take it away onto the edge of the area, and another free kick. As he keeps pushing at the defenders, he keeps forcing them into fouls. He keeps winning free kicks in good positions for Moroka Swallows.
Good position, pay to the whistle attacks, because they cannot just be so casual, and almost got punished by Igor Alves. He's put himself all over the place. He's very influential for the team. He's got a set piece, and perhaps this time around CECIL could do better.
The two centre-backs, Vinicius and DAVI RANCAN, have both gone forward for this free kick. OERSEN floats it in there. Punch away by the goalkeeper. OERSEN again. Bit of the initiative lost there as PLATIJES plays it back to ETAFIA. Forward again with the clearing header from Bishop.
Expects a lot from his fellow teammates, very motivational.
DENGUE, OERSEN looks at opportunities. Alves is waiting. He can deliver both left and right. Goes for goal. Oh, and it's spilt by young Ngoma. And Ndlovu was looking to maybe pick up the spill.
Quality ball. He cuts inside. Igor Alves has his mind made up already. Plays a shot. He takes a bounce first. Awkward for the goalkeeper. But SANDILE Ndlovu, he should be more alert, because the goalkeeper looks very suspect. He spills the ball, and that's why you punish him. But SANDILE Ndlovu's reaction, but the quality of this ball, great one. The goalkeeper makes a mess of that, should have been punished.
Just under 10 minutes to the break. Ferreira delivers. And now Vinicius de Silva is in some trouble. Remember, he's already been booked in this game. He picked up the first caution inside 5 minutes.
He's leaving dangerously. No need to lose his head. Inside that 18 area, he needs to be calm. Focus on the game.
So Ferreira takes it again. Looking up front for Ndlovu, back by Dlamini. Mongala now. Showed a bit too much, and Alves will come away with it. Good skill from Igor Alves, taken away by Ferreira. Vinicius de Silva with a challenge. Mongalo now, looking up front for Moleko. While he was trying the spectacular, maybe a little touchback to Yende would have been a better option. OERSEN, and Ndlovu's onside at the other end. And big SANDILE Ndlovu is challenged successfully by the young Mate.
Did well, and Paul Mate up against a strong player. SANDILE Ndlovu went for safety, and that's what happened. And as I was counting, a fourth ball played in front of the PLATIJES and Ravi Duncan, releasing Moleko. I'll tell you what, one of these balls, as long as they're still finding the gap, Salos will be punished.
Big day for Yende, of course, just to show how influential he can be. With all those teams chasing his signature.
Bit disappointed with Ferreira. He gets into good positions, but the quality of the crosses that he's supposed to be playing inside the 18 area have been poor. But from time to time on one-on-one situation, he could improvise.
Now, Yende loses out. Play on, says the referee. There was a good challenge initially from Mark Haskins, who's got possession here again. Continues, goes for goal. Didn't really get the power to test Ngoma.
Did well, he found the space, not enough power. But as for Yende, he needs to try and keep it simple.
Little chip from Yende, away from Vinicius to Silva. DENGUE finds Ulsen, and now they set Alves away down that flank. Good interception from Sahatsu again.
Good decision as well, very calm. Played it back to the keeper.
Pereira, Mongala. Very patient defending from KOBOLA.
Very composed, solid from Vincent KOBOLA. Not committing, not sold on the trickery of Mongala. Kept his eyes on the ball, not the man. Did well.
Mongala just, in the end, one twist and turn too many. You watch here, he just loses control of the ball, and KOBOLA shadowed him all the way and eventually won the goal kick for Swallows. Smart defending from the former under-23 international. Now, foul by Bishop on Ndlovu.
Not so smart from Bishop. Not well positioned to deal with that strength of SANDILE and Ndlovu. Realizing that Ndlovu was going to leave him for pace, just went for the illegal way of pulling the shed.
Got a bit of a knock there in the mouth. You can see he's bleeding inside the mouth. Maybe just cut on the inside of the lip, and he'll have to go off and get that sorted out. But
I also think that he's trying to buy time, and maybe he thinks that the referee is going to give him a yellow card.
Steve Barker's uncle Clive won this competition just once when he was in charge of Santos. Although he did have other cup success with AmaZulu. You'll remember the Coca-Cola Cup against Kaizer Chiefs back in 1992, a very famous win at Ellis Park, or at Soccer City rather.
This is the man that has kept AmaZulu in the PSL. I mean, he saved them from that playoff situation.
So Warren Bishop will just have to have the blood sorted out before he can get back onto the field. Flag was up. Moses Pale there from Velkom. Says it's a throw-in. So this, of course, is the final game of a PSL season, which has seen SuperSport United win the league. We've seen Ajax Cape Town win the Telkom knockout. And, of course, Kaizer Chiefs take the MTN8. That's the silverware that's been dished out already this season. Orlando Pirates started the campaign with success in the Telkom Charity Cup, and that's where we will resume the next campaign on the 1st of August. But SuperSport, of course, not resting on its laurels. We've got full coverage of all the playoff matches starting tomorrow. Two-legged semi-finals and then a two-legged final to decide who joins Jomo Cosmos in promotion to the PSL next season, or whether Thunder Royal Zulu will keep their top flight status. All of those games live on your World of Champions. Confederations Cup next month, of course. Here in Gauteng, there'll be matches at Loftus Versfeld and Ellis Park. We'll have all of those games for you as well. And here is SANDILE and Ndlovu. Support from Ulsen. Back to KOBOLA. Now TSULUPA finds a bit of space. DENGUE onto the edge of the area. HASKINS wide. They're including everybody in this build-up. PLATIJES looking for Ndlovu. Up he goes. Bishop's back on the park. Laying it back here to OERSEN. Swallows enjoying a good spell of possession here. Maybe just imposing themselves on this lower league side. And in the end, DENGUE's ball inside for ALVES was a little on the wild side.
They've done well. I mean, if you look at how they've changed possession, switch play, great vision, starting from LEFA to TSULUPA. SANDILE still showing his strength inside the 18 area, trying to engage his fellow teammates, combining well with IGOR ALVES, wasted in that final ball from DENGUE.
So a little bit of a scrappy goal separates these two sides as we head towards half-time. There's a minute and a half plus some stoppage time to be added on. Vinicius to Silva on 21 minutes with the only goal so far. TSULUPA. ETAFIA comes out with a big punch. Now he's in a bit of trouble. KOBOLA had the last touch, and this is saved from a corner by CECIL OERSEN.
That's what experienced goalkeepers do, and that's what ETAFIA has done. He's come out quite strong, punched the ball, and Ravi Duncan says, give instructions. And that's what he's done. ETAFIA came out, cleared the danger, and in the interim, injured his fellow teammate. Did well to clear the danger.
You saw RANCAN there having a bit of a word with the keeper, saying call next time, but I don't think in this noise RANCAN would have heard ETAFIA scream, and the goalkeeper was taking no chances. Now, Soatsu, play on. Mongalo picks up the straight clearance. He goes for goal over the top of ETAFIA.
They haven't been crispy in terms of their passing and quality passing in that midfield arm attacks. They've depended on half chances. We've already seen that shot from Moroka hitting the crossbar. And one thing that they haven't managed to do is to play some quality football in that midfield. Yende hasn't come to the party, so is Mongalo.
3 minutes added on by Shalteron. Must congratulate the PSL today. It just looks so smart. Everything is so well organized. We saw the pre-match ceremonies were handled with class. The Navy band, just the communication between the officials, the smart way in which they are fitted with these headsets, and the perfect timing of that board on the 45-minute mark from the fourth official is all just looking so professional here today.
That's sheer professionalism. Good exhibition of talent and teamwork, people that have made all of this to happen.
And South Africa's potential ahead of the World Cup, of course. Arendse finds Ferreira. In turn, Ndlovu. Good challenge from KOBOLA. He's just looking to put the pressure on here in the closing stages of this first half. This is Arendse with a nice move. Yende, disappointing ball. He really hasn't covered the park as influentially as perhaps many thought he would.
He's wasteful. The passion of the fans coming out.
CECIL OERSEN. Next season, we expect Jomo Cosmos to play games here. They have an academy close by. And I think, having looked at the surface, we might have some other teams trying to use this as well. Moroka Swallows are a bit nomadic at the moment, so they might be tempted. Of course, the Orlando Stadium comes on stream as well in the next 2 weeks. That'll be reopened officially on the 6th of June when Bafana take on Poland, although there were some games there towards the end of last year. Back in over the top from DENGUE, and away for a goal kick.
Goalkeeper continues to look very suspect in those in-swings inside the 16 area. Just needs someone to punish it. Double. Like so for Vinicius da Silva.
This is Ferreira through the legs of OERSEN. Yende. Half time, says Schalter on. That's it, the first 45.